Alright, let's talk about it, gamers. Is Diablo 4 worth buying right now? And also answer the question about Vessel of Hatred, because some of you guys may not have gotten the expansion, and I saw this question asked quite a bit because it's on sale currently right now. I'll also tell you guys which one is going to be the best edition for most people. So for starters, we're going to answer kind of like the main question here. So, is Vessel of Hatred going to change your mind about Diablo? To be honest, Diablo 4 feels the same way regardless of what characters that you play. The endgame is still basically the same, but there is a lot more that you can juice out of the life cycle of Diablo with the expansion. But we'll talk about basically both. So I want to start off the video by going over these two main points. If you have not played Diablo at all, you've never played a Diablo game, I still love Diablo 2 the most. However, let's be real, Diablo 2 is not very easy to get into. If you're a brand new player to the action RPG genre, I still think Diablo 3 is currently in a better state. However, I get it. Diablo 3 is like 10 plus years old. You want to play the new game. And so for that reason, I would say 1000% playing Diablo 4 for a brand new player is really good. And on top of that, Season 10 is one of the best seasons we've ever gotten, and the reason why I'm mentioning it's really great for new players is while I enjoy lots of action RPGs like Path of Exile 1 and 2, those games are not really good entry action RPGs. A lot of times what it comes down to is you start off playing Diablo, and then you move into other games in the same genre. Diablo is a really good entry action RPG, specifically 3 and 4 are very easy to get into, whereas as much as I want to say 2 is still the best in the series, it's not beginner friendly. It does not tell you go here for the quest with a giant marker. It's not really good for newer players to the genre. Now, however, we're also going to be talking about specifically the expansion. I'll show you guys everything that comes with the expansion and kind of what you're looking at. So for the expansion, right now for the price, it's so cheap, and I'll show you guys the prices, at least in the US here. But the thing is that if you already like Diablo, your experience with the expansion is going to be relatively smooth, and I would say most people will enjoy the expansion for the price point right now, which is 14 bucks. But if you didn't like Diablo 4 and you're like, I love Diablo 2, is this expansion going to change my mind? More than likely not. I'd probably still recommend Path of Exile 1 and 2 for the people that are like diehard Diablo 2 fans, or wait for the expansion 2 for Diablo 4 to really change up the game potentially, because that is supposed to be a big game changer for the genre. But anyways, let's go ahead and start off kind of what you get with the different editions and which ones do I recommend. So I'm going to make this real easy. All these Ultimate Deluxe editions, you don't need them. The only thing that matters, there is no pay to win, by the way. The only thing that I would suggest is the Diablo 4 expansion bundle. This one will come with the base game Diablo 4 and the expansion. If you already have that, well, your question would be like, is the expansion worth buying and is Diablo worth getting into right now? And the answer is yes, and that's $28. Now, for Vessel of Hatred, this is just the expansion here. Is it worth 14 bucks? Hell yes, absolutely, if you already like Diablo. Even if you don't like the class, you can still play the campaign, and you could still actually get a lot more power with your character. Now, I don't want to say Diablo is pay to win if you have the expansion, but you need the expansion if you want your character to be as powerful as it can possibly be, because you are locked out of the rune words as well as mercenaries if you do play solo. To be honest, the mercenaries are so minor. I wouldn't really consider them being worth it unless you're going to be a top 1% player. Then it may matter for leaderboard pushing. But for the most part, don't worry about the mercenary if that was the main reason why you were considering it, because the mercenaries in Diablo 4 are not Diablo 2 mercenaries. They don't really do DPS. They're very minor in terms of what they can do. But, so now that we have that out of the way, the one that you want, by the way, if you're brand new to Diablo, you want the Diablo 4 expansion bundle, and if you already have the base game, then you just need the Vessel of Hatred. Get the standard one. You don't need these ultimate editions. They come with other cosmetics, but for the most part, I would not worry about it. This is what you get, basically. You get a little tiger pet, you get cosmetics, whatever. But you also technically get the 3000 platinum, which it could be worth it if you do want those skins. But for the most part, I'm just going to recommend this. If you're like, I don't know if I should get it, just get the cheapest one. Anyways, what do you actually get with the expansion? So let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper. But I don't want to go over what's in Diablo 4, because I'm just automatically going to recommend you guys should buy the expansion bundle instantly. Or if you want to, you could just buy the base game, which is like, it's almost like 20 bucks. It's 22 bucks for just the standard edition of the game, and that one I 100% recommend. There's like no doubts about it. But I wanted to focus in on the expansion because I saw this post actually very frequently in different forms and stuff. It's just talking about the expansion because it's on sale now. That's why I wanted to cover this video now. So what do you get? Well, you get the entire campaign. There's a brand new full campaign. It's actually quite long too. If you guys happen to want to check it out, I actually have the full entire like playthrough. There's about like 12-ish hours for my play session. Now, depending on how good you are at the game and how much you want to sit there and let the text go by and kind of read and check out the entire world, I would say in terms of time frame for the campaign, it could be about 8 to 20-ish hours. And I say, you know, ish because like some people are slow, they want to read all the things, and if you want to do all the side quests and fully explore everything, you could actually get like 30 plus hours out of the game for those people that like to do all the achievements. But to be honest, you can't really do all the achievements in Diablo 4. There is some quests that are basically impossible, like the Goblin achievement is, I don't even know if anyone's gotten that one yet. It requires you to kill so many, it's like basically impossible. Anyways, but as far as it goes, the campaign, that's what you're getting for the time frame. Again, I have the full campaign. If you're like, oh, I kind of want to watch it to kind of see if I want it, by all means, go look it up. I have the full entire campaign uploaded. Now, you also get a whole section of the bottom area of the map that is also what is unlocked. So not only do you have the campaign, which takes place all over in Nahandu. So basically this area, this whole area is locked unless you buy the expansion. This is what it unlocks. But the whole top area you can always play, and you don't need the expansion obviously. But the bottom area, to be honest, I would not buy the expansion simply because of this, and I'll go over every single point. Most people don't play the bottom area because, I don't know, it's just something that most people aren't used to, so they just don't engage with it. There's nothing that basically gets locked out by this mechanic over here. There's also one new class, which is a Spiritborn. So you're going to see gameplay the whole time that I'm yapping here about is this worth it. But basically, it's a very fast, dexterity-based class, very mobile. It's mostly melee-oriented, but it can kind of be short-range with like Quill Volley. There's also like Razor Wings. There's a couple of range builds, but for the most part, the meta builds are almost always melee. That's just how the build is, or short-ranged. You also get to do the endgame raid. So again, we already went over it. You get a brand new class. I already have build guide for Season 10. One of like the most popular builds is like this Eagle Evade build. You basically can kind of select an animal. You can be like Jaguar or Eagle or Gorilla, and you can kind of mix and match some of these, and it's really cool actually. The class is actually pretty unique, and I think that there's a lot of fun to be had if it's your first time playing the new class. But also, wanted to go over the raids. Now, the raids, to be honest, you're only going to do these like one time, but basically, you go to these very special bosses. You have to play in a party. Well, Diablo 4 is always online anyway, so you have to get a group that knows what they're doing, and it's actually not that easy the very first time, but it's very exciting. The Citadel's raids are so awesome. One time only. And the reason why I say it's only awesome one time only, because once you learn the mechanic, there's not a huge incentive to do this other than you get a cosmetic, and that's pretty much it. You don't really farm these raids for loot, which is actually kind of disappointing, because I think that they could maybe offer some like mythics here, but also another thing with the mythics, if you have the expansion, you're able to craft the mythics because you can craft them via the runes, so that does kind of give you a faster way to get the mythics, but the mythics are not locked to specifically expansion. But yeah, these raid bosses, for the first time that you do it, it's actually really enjoyable, and I actually recommend you guys to go in and try them once, and if you fail, you can watch my guide and watch me and my group fail in the first few tries, because like I said, it's not easy. There are several of these raids, but again, don't expect this to be a new form of endgame content that you're going to farm for loot or anything like that. You do this kind of once and then that's it, but they are really awesome the very first time. I'm really stressing that, like, to do them, it's good. They're about 20-ish minutes each. It depends on how good your group is. If you wipe, then whatever, you reset. Again, you don't really get any rewards other than cosmetics for it. So anyways, rune words. So this is a brand new system that got introduced into the game that was kind of supposed to be kind of where like we got the rune combos in Diablo 2, but it's a lot different. So how it kind of works is you have an activator rune and then like something that fills it up. So you have something that is like what condition that you need. Like for example, over here in orange where it says Bach, travel 5 meters. So every 5 meters that I travel, I gain Gar, which Gar gives me 2.5% critical strike chance. So that goes up to 25%. So I get 25% extra bonus crit, or I can get extra damage or other skills from other classes. I can summon things. There's a lot of really cool like rune combos, and I actually really like the rune system, but it's not really like a Diablo 2 rune word if you guys are fans of Diablo 2. But I still think that this is really good, and it can give your characters power. And this one is Sem and Q, so it's going to give us Earth and Bork, which is a druid skill, but it can work for any class. And some classes will say like, while you have a berry, you get this bonus. While you have X, Y, or Z, you gain some sort of bonus. So it does give your character actually numerical power value. So this is something to consider. If you want to be the strongest build in the game, you have to have rune words in your build. This is like a non-negotiable thing. But don't worry too much about like, am I not going to be able to complete the game without the rune words? No, like it's not like that at all. But if you want the strongest build, yeah, 100%. Some builds technically get enabled because of it. And also, the reason why I'm also recommending to get Diablo right now is all of the Chaos perks and the Chaos brand new unique armors. It's like so cool. This is like the best season Diablo. I want dig too much into like the seasonal mechanic, but right now is a great time because season 10 is so good and it only lasts until December. And once December rolls around, I'm not gonna lie, season 11 is not looking too hot as of right now, but they may update it. But season 10 is the best season, so it is an excellent time to jump in right now. But there's also the mercenaries. So you do also get mercenaries in the game that will actually, let me see if I have one equipped over here. But basically the mercenaries will be other followers. If you've ever played Diablo 3 or Diablo 2, you do have like a follower, and they each do kind of special things. One of them could apply vulnerability or apply a burn, or one of them give you extra armor, resistances, and then one of them can kind of give you a map reveal. But basically the mercenary system, as far as this goes, it's just a small boost. I wouldn't worry too much about the mercenaries because while they do work in the campaign and they actually do damage and they can like speed things up, it's really not something where I would consider like a huge selling point. Originally, I was hyped about mercenaries because Diablo 2 mercenaries can literally solo an uber boss, but in Diablo 4, they are so weak. I hope we actually get an update in the future, and more likely they're going to get updated at some point because they are so weak in terms of like, you know, what they kind of showed off. I was really, really excited, just like a lot of people were, but you can't like equip items. There's no emanates like in Diablo 3, there's no system like that. So the mercenaries are pretty much forgettable, I'll be honest, but they do kind of give you a small amount of power, basically some defenses, but they're not going to give you extra huge DPS boost, but another 10, 20x damage here or there. It's like another aspect. But anyways, that is basically what you get. So again, to kind of answer the question, I would say that the expansion is 100% worth it if you already are a fan of the game. Now, the base game is still an excellent time to get it. I mean, obviously, you're watching a Diablo content creator talk about, is Diablo worth buying? And obviously, I'm going to say the game is something that I personally enjoy, so I guess I'm sort of biased in that sense. But I would say as far as the expansion goes, you do need it for power, but I don't think I would personally have bought it if it was just the campaign only. But because you get an additional class, I care more about endgame and action RPGs. I'm not really here for really the story here. There is a story, but I'm not going to spoil the story, but I gotta say that I wish it would be the way that it is currently. I wish there was kind of more of a closure to the story, but again, I'm not going to try to spoil it. But as far as it goes, there is a story. They did at least put effort into it. There's cutscenes. It does look very good, and there is a pretty decent presentation, but it's not really changing up the action RPG genre. They played it very, very safe, but they also leave you wanting more, which is, in a sense, is a good thing. But anyways, I feel like I'm ranting now. But basically, to answer the question, is it worth buying? Now, the answer is yes. I think Vessel of Hatred is worth it, especially because if you compare any other game that's going to give you like 30 plus hours of gameplay in total, right? That's if you do all the side missions. But even if you don't do the side missions and you want to like level up your Paragon glyphs and farm all the exalted bosses, you're still getting pretty good value for 14 bucks. There's not really an action RPG. Remember, by the way, if you don't have Vessel of Hatred, you have to have the base game to buy Vessel of Hatred, but there's not very many action RPGs where I felt like I've spent hundreds of hours and was like, you know, that's pretty much, you know, enjoyable enough, especially because the Spiritborn class is a fun class to play as well. It's, like I said, it's very fast. But anyways, that's going to wrap things up. If you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know your guys' honest thoughts. Do you guys think that the expansion is worth buying, or Diablo is worth buying in general? Obviously, I'm biased because I'm a Diablo content creator, but I genuinely played this game before, you know, even being able to be a partner with them. I played the game, I bought the games myself. I enjoy Diablo. I like action RPGs. But we'll see if Expansion 2 really shakes up the meta for the action RPG genre. Because pretty much, to be honest, with the expansion, we didn't really get that many more forms of endgame content. The pit is still kind of like the ultimate form. There's also, oh, you know what? There's one thing that I didn't mention, is the Undercity. There is this new Undercity mechanic, but it's so small. It's basically you go to an area and you kill some stuff, and at the very end you get a reward. There are these tributes that you can get, like different, like target farming of, let's say, if you want armors or amulets, but honestly, it's so mid that it doesn't matter. And honestly, I would not buy this game specifically for the Undercity Tributes mechanic. But that is another mechanic that you also got. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like. If you're new, subscribe, turn that bell. And like I said, let me know if you guys felt like the expansion was worth it, especially in this state in the game. I would say for 14 bucks, no question. Cop it.